Hey guys, my name is Quentin O'D. I own Community Landscaping. This is the property that we were talking about. We purchased this parcel of land that we were discussing almost 4 years ago with the intention of building a large steel building to move our landscaping company into and build additional buildings to house various other businesses. In order to do this, we need to rezone our land to commercial from its current 3 different zonings. And I say this because I think it's important to note that it is not entirely agricultural zoned farmland like has been stated at times. The end result of us not being able to rezone this will not be that this property sits vacant. The property will eventually be developed into other permitted uses such as regular residential housing or multifamily housing once we receive the various approvals that we are permitted to do so. We believe that the best use for this parcel is a commercial development due to it being situated between a former mining dumping ground that was recently rezoned to commercial and a mobile home park. I came to those rezoning hearings for our neighbor last spring, and I voiced my concern then that my neighbor rezoning to commercial would make me have to do the same thing to be able to efficiently develop our land. I saw some of you in the audience at that same hearing. Those hearings were open to the public. I did receive the letter. That is why I came. That is how I got our process started. Our neighbors successfully rezoned their property, and I started the process of doing ours. I stood up in the meeting in the same spot I am now. I talked to many of you. There are some new faces on the board, but I talked about, that I would be worried that my neighbor would do this, and what would that mean for us? We would need to do the same. That was already kind of my plan, but that would make it pretty obvious that I could not build a housing plan between a commercially zoned dumping ground and a mobile home park. So since that time, I have started the process of paying for all the permits, paying for a architect and a lawyer, and I'm tens of thousands of dollars into this investment. I understand that a small amount of residents that are in this room and have come to other meetings will be inconvenienced from developing this land. However, if this is 80 townhomes instead of a few steel buildings, many of these development-related small inconveniences will still be the same. You will still see increased traffic on the road. There will still be triaxles driving in and out as they build this neighborhood. There will still be years of construction as they develop this land. The same as if I put up one building, it might even take longer. I'm not sure which one's going to be longer, but that is all going to be part of this. While there are a few dozen upset residents, there are thousands of other residents not in this room in Finleyville that will benefit from this that you represent. I ask that you consider the thousands of people not here, not upset by this when you cast your vote tomorrow. I know that they said that there is nobody here that is for this, and that is accurate. I am the only person here that is for this. I don't know what sane, regular guy in Finleyville would come to this after work all day and say, yeah, I want to see this happen. They don't have a vested interest in making it happen. They don't even realize that their fellow residents are out here possibly ruining it. They're uninvolved. They would accept either outcome. Think about the small business owners that you will have the opportunity to represent and tax if we're able to create this small business park. In conclusion, a commercial development will allow me to give this community a better end product and provide more economic opportunity for growth than another residential housing plan. The residential housing plan that I would be able to build if this does not go well would not be of a high quality. It would not, the land there, the surrounding area would not yield a super great product. I believe I could give you a better product if we do what we were intending to do and what we talked about last spring when I was in front of you then. And I welcome any concerns or questions from any of you. I would happily answer any of your stuff. You could give me a call. You could, if this goes through or this doesn't go through and I have to build something else, I'm sure there's going to be more concerns with that. I'm here. I'm ready to accept, whatever problems you may have. I'm an accountable person. This is not a corporation. This is me. I own this business. I will be here for the next 20 years to be your neighbor and assist with your problems, regardless of what route we go. I know that many of you have been talking about the speed on Brownsville Road. I understand that that is a problem. That's going to be a problem whether anything gets done. If I build this housing plan or this commercial park, I would be happy to buy a sign and put it up there. The sign that you guys are all talking about, that the residents would need, and since it's your speed, I would be happy to make that happen. You know, I would be a member of this community, and I would look out for your well-being just as you guys would hopefully do for our fellow people. I welcome any questions you may have now or later. You can look me up online and call me. Hello.
Excuse me, before we go into the back and forth dialogue, would you please keep in mind to state your name for the record so that stenographer.
Jeannie Richter, what happened to the creek?
I would tell you that the creek dried up whenever the retention ponds were put in at the property next door. The property above me, the property that was the 120 acres rezoned, their retention ponds were put in sometime last summer. Those retention ponds are working. All of my water was gone for most of this year. When it's wet, I see some moving water. There is no longer any standing water. That tire pond next to the mobile estates that it all flows into, the mobile estates water and my water, that was dry at one point. I went out and walked into the middle of it and picked up garbage, and you know, the retention ponds are where the water is. I'm not moving the water. I don't have anywhere to hide it.
Yeah, I was just wondering.
Okay.
I thought maybe you knew.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's,
you're out there.
he
Yeah.
did, they did capture it all. Their retention ponds are working.
I have a question, Cheryl Robertson. Behind our house is where you're planning on doing this. We have beautiful greenery back there. We have a deck, so we don't have to sit out front and listen to traffic. What do you propose? to
You
do
will
with
still
that?
have that same tree line that you have. I don't want to see you. I know you don't want to see
And
me.
there's beautiful mature trees there with birds and squirrels.
I hope that they all stay.
Well,
And I don't want to see you. I wouldn't want you to see me. I know that that would ruin this. I know that Brian is the same way. I see I understand your complaints. You know, I want to, if it means that I have to leave an extra 50 feet of trees to make this happen whenever they're permitting my buildings as we're coming in here to, after this gets maybe rezoned and we get the first building approved, then, you know, there'd be times where maybe that's part of them approving the buildings and stuff like that. But I don't want to see your house either, for sure. Right, you don't want to see down into ours.
No.
I want that privacy to stay. I didn't buy this land to cut all, I didn't buy 40 acres to clear all 40 acres and build it, you know, to develop the whole thing. I want there to be woods all around it. I would not interested in clearing it all.
Because the Union Gardens is just a mess. And that's been going on
It is.
for 15 years. There's all wheat fishing, just pushing dirt around.
But so if I'm gonna build a house, the alternative would be I'd build a housing plan here. I'm gonna put a housing plan next to that. What kind of houses are those gonna be in? Those people are gonna be in your backyard instead. Is that gonna be any better? I don't know. You know, that would be a thing that, you know, I would wanna think about.
Janet Oathole,
Your last name?
I'm sorry, Oathole Hollingsworth. Oathole Hollingsworth? It changes. It's Hollingsworth. I'm sorry. My question was, you mentioned that it would benefit the residents, whatever you put in there. Are you thinking retail or?
I don't think there would be a large need for retail. I don't think that you would see it enough that you'd. It's, okay, it's not permitted, but that's not really, I don't think it'd be good for them.
But you did say this would benefit the residents
For
somehow.
sure. Maybe your husband or your uncle is a plumber and he wants to move his business somewhere, or maybe they have a small office. There's all kinds of different things that would be a permitted use. And that's what I would be interested in bringing in. People like me, maybe a painter, maybe a plumber. Whatever kind of trades you would need. Maybe Azzy's Design Works. I know that you're in a building similar to it. You could set your printer up there. I'm not saying you'd want to, but that would be a business like that to appeal to. Somebody who could come in and rent or buy a unit, or maybe you want a whole warehouse, whatever it would be.
If I could correct it, C1 does not allow retail, C2 does allow retail. So her question, would there be retail, is a valid question. The reality is, you would never build retail down with not visibility of Brownsville Road.
But if somebody wanted, sure, I just don't think that would be something that would be super valuable. I don't want there to be a bunch of vacant storage units. Somebody brought that up. That's not part of this. I don't have the money to build 5 buildings and wait for them to fill. I'm gonna build myself a building and we'll get another one, and you know, it's gonna be, I'm not gonna build a whole bunch of stuff and sit vacant and hope it fills. I'm gonna, you know, as people come and are interested, we'll build a few more.
I have a question. How,
Excuse me, please state your name.
Lori Canady, how certain are you that you are going to get people or businesses in this building?
Well, my business is gonna come first, and if I fail, then you guys all win. It's just my business, and it's less stuff on the land. I would rather there be more to it, but if you're, from your point of view, that would be a win in your boat then. As I
Well,
lose,
I'm not asking win or lose, I'm just saying, have you, this is a business proposition for you.
yeah.
What type of, research have you done to say, yeah, this is something that's viable, it can happen?
There's
or-
definitely a need for it. As a contractor that's bought buildings and rented buildings and has other contractors, there's plenty of need for this. Especially, it's not like I'm gonna build 4 buildings the first year and expect to rent them all. I'll build myself a building and we'll build one more, we'll put it up for rent, it'll rent, I'll build another one. That'll be how it goes. At a certain point, the market may step in and say, there's actually only 3 contractors that are interested in this, and I will draw the line at that point. The market would determine that. I think there is a large need for it, though. To speak upon that, you could see that in the commercial rent and the commercial real estate market. I just bought a building. I just rented my other building. There's a need.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.